Funny how you never see the end coming, right? I'm Mia, I'm 30, and I need to get this off my chest because, honestly, my life took a turn I never expected. 8 years ago, I was just a receptionist at this corporate office building when I met Anthony. He was this successful 37-year-old real estate developer who owned half the building. Total power move when he'd walk through the lobby. Everyone noticed him, tall, confident, that salt and pepper hair that just worked, you know? I still remember how he'd stop by my desk just to chat. At first I thought he was just being nice, but then came the coffee invites, the lunch dates, and suddenly I'm dating this amazing older man who had his life together. Like, actually together. We're talking multiple commercial properties, business connections all over the city, and this gorgeous house in the suburbs. Meanwhile, I was sharing an apartment with two other girls and eating ramen for dinner. The age gap? Didn't even think twice about it back then. If anything, it made him more attractive. He was mature, established, knew exactly what he wanted. No games, no drama. Just this successful man who saw something special in me and wanted to build a life together. We got married within 2 years, and I felt like I'd won the lottery. Fast forward to now, and everything's different. Anthony's not the same powerful guy who swept me off my feet. These days, it's all doctor appointments, blood pressure medications, and constant complaints about his knee pain. His business is struggling because he can't do the property tours like he used to. The market's brutal right now, and deals keep falling through. I've lost count of how many times I've had to reschedule my work meetings because he needed me to drive him to some specialist. I've been crushing it at my sales job, by the way, like really crushing it. Top performer 3 quarters in a row. But can we celebrate that? Nope, because Anthony's too stressed about his health, too worried about the business, too everything. The other night, I had to help him figure out his new blood pressure monitor app because he couldn't understand the interface. I mean, seriously? I'm 30, I should be living my best life, not playing tech support and nurse to someone who's falling apart at 45. Don't get me wrong. I get that health issues aren't his fault, but this isn't what I signed up for. I wanted the successful, confident man who could take care of himself. Now I'm stuck being his personal assistant, nurse, and emotional support all rolled into one. Every morning it's Mia, did you refill my prescription? Or, Mia, can you come with me to this doctor's appointment? Or, Mia, my knee's acting up again, can you grab the heating pad? The worst part? He doesn't even see how this is affecting me. He's so wrapped up in his problems that he doesn't notice I'm drowning here. I'm at this weird place where I'm too young to be dealing with all this caretaking stuff, but I feel guilty even thinking that way. Like, isn't marriage supposed to be in sickness and in health? But I'm pretty sure they meant that for when you're both old, not when you're 30 and your husband's falling apart. Sometimes I look at him sleeping in his recliner, because his back can't handle our bed anymore, and wonder how we got here. How did my strong, successful man turn into someone who needs help reading prescription labels? I love him, I do, but lately, I don't know. Lately, I've been feeling like maybe I'm too young to be dealing with all this. Like maybe I deserve someone who can actually keep up with me. It started with early morning gym sessions. Just me and Darius, meeting at 6 a.m. before work. Eddie used to come too, but he gradually stopped showing up, probably caught on to the vibe. Darius would spot me during lifts, his hands lingering just a second too long. We'd grab smoothies after, talking about everything and nothing. Sometimes we'd be almost late to work, but who cared? I felt alive. Those gym sessions turned into breakfast meetings. Breakfast turned into long drives. Long drives turned into... well, you get the picture. The first time it happened, it was after a particularly rough day. Anthony had called me 5 times about his medication schedule, then texted that he needed me to come home early for his doctor's appointment. I canceled on him, saying I had a client meeting. Instead, I was in Darius's car, parked somewhere quiet, finally feeling young again. Eddie started giving me these looks at work, not judgy, just knowing. He'd cover for us in meetings, make excuses when people asked questions. I think he felt bad for Anthony, but he kept our secret. The whole thing made me feel powerful, desirable. Darius would text me these songs he was listening to, pictures from his morning run, messages about how he couldn't stop thinking about me. Meanwhile, Anthony's getting worse. His business is struggling because he can't handle the physical demands anymore. The other day, he asked me to help him put on his compression socks. His back was too stiff to bend down. All I could think about was how Darius and I had just done a killer leg workout that morning. Anthony's constantly calling his doctors, adjusting medications, stressing about money. He's aged 10 years in the past few months, I swear. I started making excuses to stay at work later. Big project deadline, client emergency, team meeting ran long. Anthony believed everything. He was too caught up in his own problems to notice how I'd changed my hair, updated my wardrobe, started wearing makeup differently. Darius noticed, though. He noticed everything. The guilt comes in waves, like when Anthony texts me a heart emoji out of nowhere, or when he struggles to hide his pain during dinner. But then Darius sends me a gym selfie or touches my arm during a meeting, and I remember what it feels like to be desired, not needed. To be someone's choice, not their nurse. I know it's messed up. Trust me, I know. But you try going home to someone who's falling apart at 45 when you've got this gorgeous, fit guy telling you you're too young and beautiful to be playing caretaker. There are days I want to confess everything to Anthony. Then he'll have another health scare, or need help with his business paperwork, and I think, how can I leave him like this? But also, how can I stay? Then came that Thursday happy hour that changed everything. We were at Morrison's, our usual spot. I was sitting next to Darius, probably a little too close, but whatever. 3 cocktails in and I didn't care. Eddie was telling some story about his CrossFit fail when my phone started buzzing. Anthony, I ignored it. Another buzz, ignored. Then a text. Feeling better today, might stop by if you're still there. Miss seeing your face. My stomach dropped. I tried playing it cool, but Darius noticed me tense up. He slid his hand onto my knee under the table, and I couldn't deal. Anthony hadn't been to a happy hour in months, always too tired, too sore, too something. Why today? I kept hoping if I ignored his texts he'd just give up and stay home. He didn't. 20 minutes later, Anthony walks in. He's trying to hide his limp, but you can see the pain in his face. Everyone at our table gets quiet, that awkward kind of quiet when someone's parent shows up at the party. He pulls up a chair, right across from me and Darius, and I swear I could feel Darius's hand disappear from my knee so fast it left a ghost print. Anthony's trying to be cool, asking about work, making an effort to fit in, but he's so obviously out of place among all these young fit people. He orders a club soda, can't mix alcohol with my meds, and I just want to sink into the floor. Darius is being weirdly polite, Eddie's suddenly super interested in his phone, and I'm sitting there watching my 2 worlds collide in the most painful way possible. Then Anthony checks his phone and says, "Babe, we should probably head out soon. Got that physical therapy appointment early tomorrow, the one you promised to drive me to, remember?" I don't know if it was the drinks, the embarrassment, or just months of resentment bubbling up, but something in me snapped. Seriously? You came all the way here just to remind me about your doctor's appointment? The table gets quiet, like, dead quiet. Guess what, everyone? I hear myself saying, my voice dripping with fake enthusiasm. My husband needs his bedtime routine. Can't keep up with the young crowd anymore, can you, babe? Nobody laughs. Anthony's face just falls. I mean, it must be exhausting trying to hang with people who can actually walk without limping, right? Eddie mutters, "Mia," in this warning tone, but I'm on a roll. Sorry guys, looks like I have to take Grandpa home. He's just too old to keep up with me these days. The silence that follows is deafening. Darius is staring at his drink like it holds the secrets of the universe. Eddie's looking at me like he doesn't even know who I am. And Anthony, he just stands up, slowly, painfully, and walks out. Doesn't say a word. Just leaves. Someone at the next table coughs. Eddie mumbles something about getting another round. Darius won't even look at me. And sitting there watching my husband's painful exit, I realize I just publicly humiliated the man who gave me everything. Just to impress people who now look disgusted with me. But I couldn't take it back. Wouldn't take it back. Because in that moment, as horrible as it was, I told the truth. I was tired of being married to someone too old to keep up with me. The next few weeks were weird. Anthony didn't mention the happy hour incident. He just got quieter. Started handling his appointments himself, stopped asking for help with his meds, even slept in the guest room, saying his back needed a different mattress. I told myself this was good. Independence, right? Isn't that what I wanted? But work got weird too. Darius started acting distant. No more early gym sessions, no more lingering touches. He'd make excuses to leave rooms I entered. Eddie barely spoke to me, except for necessary work stuff. I figured they just needed time to get over the happy hour drama. I mean, we were too far in for Darius to just walk away, right? Wrong. 3 weeks after that night, Anthony comes home from work looking different. Calmer somehow. He asks me to sit down, pulls out his phone, and starts reading texts. My texts. To Darius. Screenshots of our conversations, pictures we'd sent each other, timestamps of our gym sessions. Turns out Darius grew a conscience, couldn't handle the guilt. He went to Anthony's office, confessed everything, handed over all the evidence. I thought you should know, Anthony says, his voice steady, that while you were complaining about taking care of your old man, you were the one everyone felt sorry for. Darius told me everything. How you'd brag about deceiving me, how you'd laugh about my health issues with him. He showed me all those times you canceled my doctor's appointments to be with him. He's half your age younger than me, and he still knew what you were doing was wrong. I tried to turn it around on him, how he'd become so needy, how I was too young to be a caretaker, how Darius made me feel alive. Anthony just listened, nodding like he was finally seeing me clearly for the first time. You know what's funny? He says, standing up carefully. His knee was still bad. I've been pushing myself through physical therapy, trying new treatments. My business is starting to recover too. I thought I was doing it for us, but now I realize I needed to do it for me. A week later, divorce papers arrived. No drama, no fighting, just a clean split. The office found out somehow, probably through Eddie, who'd known more than he let on. Suddenly, I was toxic. The cool gym girl became the woman who mocked her husband's health issues. Even the new intern started declining my lunch invites. Darius, my supposed soulmate who got me, transferred to another department, told HR he couldn't work with me anymore. When I tried confronting him in the parking lot, he just said, "What you did to Anthony. That wasn't right. I can't be that person, and I can't be with someone who is." Eddie ran into me in the break room and just said, "You know, we all thought Anthony was the lucky one, landing a younger wife. Turns out you were the lucky one. You had someone who loved you through his worst moments, and you mocked him through his." The worst part, Anthony never badmouthed me to anyone. He just moved on, started focusing on his health, his business. Our mutual friends would accidentally mention his improvements, how his new treatment was working, how he'd landed some big commercial deals. Meanwhile, I'm eating lunch alone at work, watching the empty chair where Darius used to sit, realizing I'd thrown away a man who loved me for someone who couldn't even look me in the eye anymore. That was 2 years ago. I'm 32 now, and let me tell you how karma works. I'm swiping through dating apps, and guess what keeps popping up? Men in their mid-40s. The universe has a sick sense of humor, I swear. Every time I see 45, divorced, entrepreneur in a bio, my stomach does this weird flip. Darius? He's engaged to some 31-year-old Pilates instructor he met at our old gym. They post these disgustingly cute workout videos together. Eddie's dating a girl from accounting. They do those couple marathons now. Both of them still avoid eye contact in the hallway, like I'm some cautionary tale they don't want to catch. I switched departments, but the story followed me. You know how people whisper about the office scandal from years ago? That's me now. The woman who mocked her husband's health issues, cheated with the hot young guy, and ended up alone. Some of the new hires don't even know it's me. And I've heard them talk about that horrible woman in the break room. But here's the real kick in the teeth. Anthony's thriving. My friend Rachel ran into him at some business lunch. Apparently, he found this amazing physical therapist who specialized in his condition. She's 40, divorced too, and helped him develop this whole wellness routine. They're engaged now. She posts about their healing journey together on Instagram. His business is booming again. He's all over the local business journals for some major development project. The last time I stalked their social media, Yeah, I do that, sue me. They were at some charity gala. Anthony was standing tall. No cane, no limping. He looked younger than he did in our last years together. The physical therapist had her hand on his arm, looking at him like he's everything. The caption was something about supporting each other through life's ups and downs. Meanwhile, I'm getting called ma'am by the new college grad hires at work. The other day, some kid in the elevator asked if I was someone's mom visiting the office. My gym selfies don't get the likes they used to. Those late-night texts from younger guys, they stopped too. Turns out being the hot young thing has an expiration date. Sometimes I catch myself thinking about those last months with Anthony. How I complained about his medications, mocked his pain, chose gym sessions with Darius over his doctor's appointments. I didn't realize that while I was so focused on his age showing, I was the one revealing something much worse about myself. Everyone says I should feel guilty, that I should have been a better wife, that karma got me. But you know what? I was too young for all that responsibility. I didn't sign up to be a caretaker at 30. Sure, maybe I handled it badly, the cheating, the public humiliation, the cruel jokes. But Anthony's happy now, right? He found someone his own age who actually wants to deal with all that health stuff. Someone who probably doesn't make him feel old or broken. So here I am, 32 and starting over. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm now the age Anthony was when we met, swiping through profiles of men his age, and realizing that maybe the problem was never about him being too old to keep up with me. Maybe I was just too immature to appreciate what keeping up actually means.